on the ground yet, but you can barely make it out. It's right there, right to the left of this hailstone.
The skies across the United States have turned into theaters of the strange. We are talking about signs so breathtaking and terrifying that they left people shaken. Black vortexes hanging in the heavens, glowing crosses appearing before storms, and figures like angels walking through wildfires have all been captured on video. And honestly, if they weren't caught on camera, no one would have believed them. Are these just natural wonders, or are they warnings of what lies ahead? Join us as we break down the mysteries behind it all. The heavenly signs caught on camera. In recent times, people have spotted strange signs in the sky across the United States. Surprisingly, these are not typical weather patterns, but events so unexplainable.
I don't know, right? But I think I would approach this question as, what is it likely to be?
They looked more like a prophecy. From coastlines to farmlands, ordinary people raised their eyes and found themselves staring at signs that shook them to the core, leaving a trail of footage and memories that words alone could never have captured. The first sign came quietly, and yet it shook the hearts of everyone who saw it. In skies from the Midwest to the southern plains, vast black vortexes appeared, hanging in the air as if the heavens had been torn open. They did not twist like tornadoes or move across the land with the rush of storms. They remained still, suspended in silence, their size so large they dwarfed the horizon. According to eyewitness testimony, they felt a weight pressing down on them, like something was wrong with the air and their chests had grown heavy. Don't panic, because we've not even revealed the most shocking encounter yet. Some people stood in awe, shocked by the magnitude of what they had just witnessed. Others trembled in fear, but everyone understood one thing, that they were witnessing something outside the ordinary rhythm of nature. Scientists rushed to the scene with instruments and theories. Some claimed it was the result of rare atmospheric conditions, while others suggested it was an undiscovered event in the upper layers of the sky. Yet storm chasers, men and women seasoned by years of following tempests, stood baffled. They insisted these signs were unlike anything they had ever seen. There was no wind signature, no electrical trace, no weather model that could explain shadows so large and so still. For those who approached the mystery through science, the questions remained unending and unanswered. For those with spiritual eyes, the answer was already clear. These were not storms. These were heavenly signs. The picture of the sky torn open stayed in many minds. To them, these dark openings were not random shadows. They were rips in the heavens, a sign of realms usually hidden from human sight. However, it was the thought of portals that generated the most controversy, because a doorway is never only an exit, it is always an entrance as well. If the sky is opening, then something beyond was drawing near. The idea spread quickly, not by scholars, but by ordinary voices who felt in their hearts that the fabric of the world had been disturbed. Stay glued, because we're about to reveal something so terrifying you'll never forget. Right in the middle of the confusion came the storms. Texas and Florida bore the brunt of hurricanes so fierce that even experts called them once in a millennium. Whole neighborhoods disappeared underwater overnight. Winds shattered towers and hurled debris like arrows across the streets. In the south, hailstones as large as baseballs punched holes through rooftops and cars. The scale of destruction left survivors stunned, not only by the loss of homes and lives, but by the sense that nature itself had turned into a weapon. These were not simply natural disasters. They carried a weight, as if judgment had walked on the wind and waves. What troubled many people even more were the signs that came before the storm struck. Over one city, clouds shifted and merged into the shape of a glowing cross. Witnesses stood still, staring at a symbol that seemed written into the heavens. On the coast, a deep vibration rolled across the skies, like blasts from a trumpet echoing above the earth. Not long after, streaks of light appeared over the waters, fanning out into the form of great wings. People pointed to the heavens, whispering of angels, while others shook their heads, unable to explain what they saw. Survivors spoke of these wonders not as coincidences, but as warnings. They recalled scripture that spoke of signs in the sky before calamity on the earth. To them, the cross, the trumpet blasts, and the angel wings were heaven's way of drawing attention before the storms delivered their fury. Some even remembered how the memories of those shapes gave them strength when walls crumbled and waters rose, while others confessed that only then did they realize how fragile life had always been. In the end, every account tied disaster and symbolism together, as if nature and prophecy had joined hands. The skies had not only raged but spoken. The earth has not only broken but is warning. To those watching closely, the message was plain. The world was entering a season where storms were no longer just weather, but signs of something bigger, like the end times. And if the skies and seas had begun to speak, then what might come next would be even harder to ignore. Keep watching. The figure in the wildfires. While controversies over the signs in the heavens were still raging, something happened that also left a trail of fiery destruction. In California, fires burned in a way no one had seen before. Flames roared across mountains and valleys, swallowing towns within hours. The fires moved so fast that entire communities had no time to flee, and skies turned blood red for days. Despite their years of experience, firefighters admitted that these blazes were unlike anything they've ever faced. The heat bent steel, and winds carried sparks across miles, igniting new fronts, as if the land itself had turned against its people. Amid this chaos, a story began to circulate. In the heart of the flames, where the fire should have consumed everything, witnesses claimed to see a radiant figure walking calmly through the inferno. The figure glowed with a light that cut through the smoke, arms stretched as if to comfort rather than to threaten. Firefighters who fought at the front lines confessed they felt a sudden calm in the middle of the storm, a peace that made no sense given the destruction surrounding them. They described it as a moment where fear lost its grip, as if an unseen presence had stepped into their battle. Believers quickly drew a connection to the story of Daniel's companions, who stood unharmed in Babylon's furnace, protected by a divine figure in the flames. The parallels were too strong to ignore. To them, the sight in California was not a trick of light or a play of smoke, but a reminder that God still walks with people even in the most unbearable fires. The account spread across towns and churches, feeding both hope and awe. Of course, not everyone accepted it. Skeptics dismissed the figure as nothing more than shadows formed by the blaze. They argued that tired eyes and smoke-filled skies often play tricks. Yet for those who stood in the line of fire, no scientific explanation could match the overwhelming peace they had felt in that moment. The debate between disbelief and faith became sharper, each side certain of what they had seen or refused to see. But that wasn't all. While the fires raged, creation itself seemed to rebel in strange ways. Farmers recorded endless spirals of ants, moving in circles until exhaustion claimed them. On quiet pastures, sheep gathered into tight circles, lifting their heads to the skies and refusing to scatter. In cities, birds flew headlong into buildings, their bodies littering sidewalks in numbers too great to ignore. Along the coasts, schools of fish swirled in perfect rings before washing ashore in silver heaps, their patterns as haunting as they were precise. These signs left many people in shock because they suggested a design beyond accident, a world groaning as though it carried a burden too heavy to bear. For many, the words of Romans about creation groaning like a woman in labor came alive in those days. The earth was not only scarred by disasters, but seemed to cry out, signaling that renewal was close, yet not without pain. Every spiral, every circle of animals staring at the sky, Every unnatural gathering seemed to echo that message. Then came the glowing rings. In cities across the country, people lifted their eyes at night to see perfect circles of light hovering in the heavens. Some looked like gates made of fire, others shimmered like crowns suspended in the dark. Scientists claim they are optical tricks, the result of ice crystals bending light. Their explanations made sense, but their timing raised questions. Why did these shapes appear now, when storms, fires, and strange animal behaviors already unsettled the land? For many, they were not tricks at all, but portals, reminders that eternity was never far away. The pictures spread quickly, stirring both wonder and unease. Some felt they were invitations, openings to a realm beyond time. Others feared they were warnings, signs that the sky itself was declaring urgency. The debate continued, yet the sight of glowing circles left an impression that reason could not erase. Through fire, creation, and light, people felt a pattern forming, as though every element of the world had joined in one message. The earth shook, the skies opened, and the creatures moved in strange ways. The flames did not just burn, they revealed. The animals did not just act strangely, they testified. The heavens did not just display light, they reminded everyone that what lies beyond this world is closer than most dare to believe. As more and more strange things are captured across America, the question that many believers are asking now is whether we are spiritually dead or awakened. The answer is not as simple as you think. Stay with us. Are believers spiritually dead or awakened? The signs in the heavens and the figure in the fire are not the only warnings. As fires rage in forests and seas groan in circles of death, the shaking reaches the heart of nations. America feels the impact, not through smoke and ash alone, but in the crumbling of its own foundation. The economy strains under inflation, where the cost of food and fuel rises faster than wages, leaving families stretched thin. What once felt secure now trembles, and the cracks widen between those with plenty and those with nothing. From this place, protests erupt across cities, fueled not only by hardship, but by a deeper unrest that no policy can soothe. Crowds gather in anger, voices clash in confusion, and the sense of direction grows faint. The moral compass has lost its needle, and what once was clear now feels clouded. The gap between the rich and the struggling grows wider, leaving many wondering if fairness has vanished altogether. Forget about the numbers on paper. People's lives have been stretched thin, where financial fragility becomes a silent storm shaking the foundation of the nation. Churches that were once alive with conviction and courage now often stand quiet, their voices lower than the culture pressing against them. Sanctuaries that once lit the way with clarity have dimmed, their power weakened by compromise or fear. Yet in this silence, something unexpected is happening elsewhere. Yes, revival. Across campuses and among the young, a revival is spreading. But shadows fall across the hope, for prophecy warns of a figure who will rise, promising peace but tightening chains. This false savior, the Antichrist, offers answers that soothe while stealing freedom, binding people not with iron, but with deception. As technology advances, the systems of control are already taking shape. Digital networks, which were once tools for connection, have become webs that can track, restrict, and shape behavior. Convenience lays the groundwork for compliance, and what appears as progress hides a path toward domination. It is not about outward gestures, but surrender within, where pride gives way to humility and rebellion gives way to obedience. Readiness is not fear-driven, but steady, shown in daily watchfulness, in forgiving when wronged, in finding courage when pressure mounts. It is a posture of alertness, not slumber, for the days ahead demand eyes open and hearts strong. In many ways, America is like Babylon. Its wealth dazzles, its power impresses, its pride blinds. Yet under the splendor, there is emptiness, and where humility is absent, downfall waits. History shows that no nation, no matter how mighty, can defy the hand of judgment forever. The window of mercy narrows, not to crush hope, but to awaken urgency. It is a time to choose, not tomorrow, not later, but now. The choice lies between decline into deeper shadows or awakening into light. The future is not sealed in despair, but the hour is short, and hesitation grows costly. Before judgment falls, there is always a warning. Remember the stories of Noah's Ark, Jonah's call to Nineveh, and Daniel's visions. They remind us that God does not strike without first raising alarms. This same pattern stretches across history and into our present, showing that the signs we see today are not random, but purposeful. At the center of it all are two moments that will shape eternity: the rapture and the second coming. People often confuse the two, but they are not the same. The rapture is sudden, unannounced, and without warning. In an instant, believers are caught up, removed from the world before the storm of judgment sweeps through. Nothing signals the exact hour, for it comes like a thief in the night, leaving shock and chaos behind. The second coming, however, is entirely different. It is not hidden, but visible to every nation. The skies will split with glory, and Christ will descend not in silence but with power and judgment. Unlike the rapture, which gathers his people, the second coming confronts rebellion and ends deception. This moment shakes the earth, topples the proud, and ushers in the reign promised long ago. Between these two events lies the tribulation, a period of suffering unmatched in history. It builds toward Armageddon, where the armies of the world converge in defiance, yet are crushed by the breath of the returning king. What follows is the millennial reign, 1,000 years where peace replaces war and justice is no longer a dream, but a reality. The question is, are we prepared? Are we spiritually awakened to the strange and mysterious signs all around us? Thank you for staying with us. Do you think the mysterious signs are connected to the second coming of Christ? Share your opinions with us in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.